Okay, I'm going to take you through downtown Marshall, the town that's a mile long and a street wide up here in the mountains of western North Carolina. Haven't filmed it for a while, doubt it's changed a whole lot. But we're heading down from US 70-25 down towards the old town of Marshall. They built a bypass a couple, 3 decades ago, and the old town is not seeing its best days anymore. But those of us who knew it growing up still love it. And it's a good ways down off the mountain, down to where the town is, right on the French Broad River. The reason it's called the town that's a mile long and a street wide is because that's almost literal truth. There was just no room for the town to expand, so it stayed reasonably small until they started building up on the mountain here. Okay, what's this guy doing? Backing up. Oh. Okay, now we're moving. And we're coming to the north end of town. You can go south to the southern end of town, and I'm not sure it's actually a mile long, but it's just not that big a town. But a lot of history happened down in this area. And a lot of my kinfolk grew up coming to Marshall to shop. It was the town here in this part of the mountains. The county seat of Madison County, which we call the Kingdom of Madison, which dates back to the days when it was a mountain fastness and very, very isolated area. Now it's serviced by 4-lane roads and everything, or at least back up on the bypass it is. Okay, that's French Broad River ahead of us. There's an island across in the river there where the old high school was. My mother graduated from there in 1926. So in here we start up lower into town. Lapland Books and Arts. I'm going to check that out sometime. The town was originally named Lapland for some reason, and its name was changed back, I believe, in the 1850s. With this courthouse over on the left. And like many areas in western North Carolina, this has been gentrified. A lot of yuppies moved in. So there's coffee shops and things that just were not around back in the 50s and 60s when I was growing up. Some of it's better, some of it's worse, but that's progress, I guess. There actually is a couple little side streets, but they're well less than a block long before they hit the river. Big truck coming. I give him plenty of room. And we're almost to the end of town here. The depot over on the right. Used to have a regular passenger service many years ago. They don't now. They hold bluegrass concerts in the depot every Saturday night, I believe, or maybe it's every Friday night. I'm not sure. I have to come and check it out. So that's it. Now we're on it's called Business 2570, but it turns into 251 now and runs up the river. That used to be 70. This road we're on right now doesn't look like much, but it used to be the main highway from Asheville into Tennessee. Of course, back in the 60s, they built I-40, which went down through the Pigeon River Gorge, and all this area down through here just dried up. That was politics. The governor of North Carolina at the time I-40 was being built was from Asheville and grew up in Haywood County, I think. So for some reason they changed the route, which was originally supposed to come down this way, to go down through Haywood County, and this whole area sort of dried up for several decades, and it's just now getting a little damp again. But when I was a kid, this highway had lots of stores along it, lots of filling stations, bumper-to-bumper traffic most of the time. This was just the way to go. Now it's pretty isolated. You meet the occasional person on a bicycle, and that's about it. The cyclists love going up and down this road, although I don't think they come down quite this far from Asheville. We're about 15 miles or so from Asheville, not very far. But I'm going to drive the old road back up today, just for the fun of it. And so it's just a little trip of nostalgia for me, albeit a rather brief one, going through Marshall again. I go through Marshall pretty often anyway on business. So wasn't that exciting? This is the only real straight stretch on the whole road. Usually it's curving in around big rocks and stuff going up the side of, clinging to the side of the mountain as it goes up alongside the river. And anyway, I've filmed going up the river several times, so I'm going to do that today. But we'll catch it when it gets a little bit farther along in spring. Spring's just starting here. This is April the 8th, 2011. As we get into the remnants of 70 down here. Good, there's nothing coming. Which, again, not unusual these days. And then the road turns back into a 2-lane, and it crawls along the side of the river here. By the way, I told you about during the 50s and so when Highway 70 was the way into Tennessee. Well, it was that way for well over 100 years before that. In fact, this was originally back before the Civil War. This was called the Buncombe Turnpike, and they drove big herds of hogs all the way from Tennessee up into Asheville and farther on that to feed people. So there's a lot of, they're called drover stories, a lot of hog drover stories and legends about this stretch of highway and the crimes that occurred and the people who got killed and everything. It's quite an interesting place. But the rest of the road all the way up to Alexander, where I'm going, where I live, is pretty much like this, just high rocks on one side and deep rocky Feist River on the other side. And I let it shoot just a little bit more. We're still in Madison County, but we're very quickly now being to Buncombe County. And then I'll see, here's a bicyclist, a cyclist. I waved at her, but she didn't wave back. Sometimes you'll get a cyclist who'll wave back and then they'll weave all over the highway until they gain control again. Oh, anyway. So that's what's happening here in the Kingdom of Madison, in the western North Carolina mountains. This is Ralph Roberts, Rapid Ralph reporting. Thanks for riding along.